The feeling of imposter syndrome impacts all of us. So you gotta take a step back and look at the facts. Up to 82% of people struggle with imposter syndrome, or also known as imposter phenomenon. It's a struggle that we all go through, and you aren't alone in it. So what exactly does this imposter syndrome feel like? Well, it can be something like, I know I lead a large team, I've done some big projects, and held some pretty big presentations and speeches. However, I don't know why they keep putting me in front to lead them. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I somehow tricked them into getting me here. And that's part of the narrative that we can feel when dealing with imposter syndrome. However, in overcoming imposter syndrome, or at least accepting it, the first thing you have to do is take a look at the facts. Step back and really look at the work you've put in, the years you've studied, the years you've spent in the field or in that industry. Just taking a moment to really look at the big picture. And that's admittedly not always easy. Take it from Don Cheadle. So Don Cheadle has a quote that says, "All I can see is everything I'm doing wrong. That is a sham and a fraud." However, that feeling does not stop him from pursuing his success and his passion. And it shouldn't stop you either. It can be hard for us to actually see the work we've done or to positively affirm our own self. And there's a reason for that. We are physically hardwired to see negativity. If you're coming up against this roadblock, the next thing that you can do is phone a friend. If you can't convince yourself, or you don't like the picture that you've painted, bringing in the perspective of someone that you trust can be very helpful in learning to paint that picture in a new light. So finding people that you can be open with, honest with, and vulnerable about your true thoughts about feeling like an imposter can help them paint a new picture with you that brings to light the work that you have done, the work you've put in, and how the world sees you. It's like Bob Ross painting a happy little tree instead of something that was a mistake, or as he calls it, a happy little accident. Perfect doesn't exist. And I'm gonna say it again for the people in the far back. Perfect does not exist. And when I say perfect doesn't exist, I don't mean don't do your due diligence, don't continue to do good work, but instead understand where exactly you placed your bar of good work and that bar of success. Picture it like this. If you're like Gru and you're on Earth and you somehow set your bar of success all the way on the moon, you might have a harder time reaching it than if you were to say, lower that bar of success to where it's still within sight, but it's a further distance away, and reframe how you approach this idea of success. You need to allow yourself to be okay with good enough, because you will burn out trying to achieve perfect, and also you will die trying. At the same time, you don't want to put your bar of success 6 feet under. Instead, you want to put it in a way that still makes you strive for excellence, but makes it easier to see and celebrate your wins. So you want to practice mindfulness and self-compassion. So the way I define mindfulness is the practice of self-awareness without judgment for your thoughts. And self-compassion can be an edit of the golden rule. So the golden rule being treat others the way you want to be treated, to then moving it to treat yourself how you want others to treat you, or maybe how you generally treat a puppy. Both of these practices do take work, and they may not come as naturally to everyone. However, they are important in reframing your mindset around what you do, what you've done, and who you are. Accept it and learn to guide it. So going back to Don Cheadle as an example here, he didn't let imposter syndrome define his life. Instead, he chose to continue to pursue his passion. You can also accept this feeling of imposter syndrome, but still move forward despite it, and despite how limiting it sometimes feels. Consider it like a spectrum. Sure, some days it will feel harder than others. Some days facing that imposter syndrome will feel more mentally draining than others. Yet you don't want to let it define who you are. Successful people, even at the highest levels in their careers, in their fields, face imposter syndrome just as much as that first-time graduate and first-time hire does going into a new job. The key here is do not let imposter syndrome contain your potential and stop you from achieving all that I know you can do. Be sure to check out my video on overcoming perfectionism as a tie-in to the idea of imposter syndrome. Keeping everything simple. Have an amazing day, you amazing people, and I will see you all in the next video.